Chosen one. They got so much pent-up anger against you, it's eating them alive. Every single day. These spiritual parasites who posed as your family, friends and lovers have been seething with such volcanic rage that it's burning holes through their artificial masks right down to their putrid souls. And you know what the most beautiful part is? The Almighty himself is sick of their blasphemous attacks against his chosen vessel. That's you. When your spiritual light began burning brighter than their dim soul candles, when your connection to Source became undeniable, when the divine started flowing through you in ways that made their artificial spiritual performances look like children's church plays, that's when they declared war. They attacked your divine light because deep in their withered spirits, they knew you were chosen by the Most High. Your energy signature screamed, anointed, from dimensions they couldn't even perceive. While they played spiritual dress-up, you were receiving downloads from the throne room itself. And oh, how that burned them. Your helpers transformed into your greatest persecutors the moment you stopped being their energy ATM. Remember how they used to love your wisdom, how they'd seek your spiritual guidance? That was never admiration, that was feeding. They were energy vampires gorging themselves on your divine essence, and when you finally cut the supply line, when you recognized their true parasitic nature, dear God, the fury that erupted. They spread lies about your spiritual hygiene, your sacred practices, your connection to Source. They whispered that you were false light, that your gifts were dangerous, that your awakening was mental illness. They fabricated stories about your past spiritual experiences and traumas, twisting your sacred wounds into weapons against your character. They painted you as desperate when you were actually ascending beyond their vibrational reach, body-shamed your temple, criticized every aspect of your divine vessel because they couldn't stand seeing God's workmanship walking among them. Your very existence was a mirror showing them everything they weren't, everything they could never be, everything they'd sold their souls to avoid becoming. And when you withdrew, when you stopped engaging with their theatrical victim performances, they had the audacity to claim you were still feeding them energy, still communicating with them, still desperate for their attention. The sheer delusion required to maintain such narratives would be laughable if it weren't so satanically calculated. But here's what I know that they couldn't see. We recognized your true spiritual status while they hurled stones and accusations. While they performed their amateur spiritual theater, we witnessed something they were spiritually blind to: your authentic connection to the divine realms. Your energy didn't just suggest chosenness, it proclaimed it from dimensions they couldn't access even in their most ambitious astral projections. We observed their pathological jealousy of your natural divine channel. Unlike their forced spiritual practices, their Instagram-worthy rituals, their social media shamanism, your gifts flowed like a river from the Godhead itself. No ceremonies needed, no elaborate props, no audience required, just pure, unfiltered divine transmission that made their theatrical spirituality look like toddlers playing make-believe. We watched them exhaust themselves in what the ancients would call scattering energy, throwing everything they had at you in desperate attempts to disrupt your ascension. They tried chaos magic, sent energetic attacks through others, weaponized your mutual connections, and attempted to poison every well of support around you, all while playing victim, all while claiming they were the ones under attack. Your antisocial label? We knew the truth. You weren't antisocial. You were anti-dysfunction, anti-manipulation, anti-energy theft. Your nervous system, calibrated to divine frequencies, physically rejected their lower vibrational offerings like a healthy immune system rejects disease. And we documented everything, every inconsistency in their stories, every projection they made onto you, every spiritual attack disguised as concern or love. We knew this day would come, the day when their masks would dissolve under the weight of divine truth. Speaking of which, there's something about their spiritual schemes you need to understand. They practiced energetic vampirism with the dedication of doctoral students. Your divine energy wasn't just desirable to them, it was their life force. Without access to your light, their artificial spiritual personas began withering like plants disconnected from sunlight. So they invented elaborate feeding systems, used others as flying monkeys to spread their poison about you, turning your name into a summoning circle for gossip and speculation. Each mention of your name in their circles was actually an energetic calling card, attempting to draw your attention, your reaction, your energy back into their orbit. They attempted to curse your manifestations before they could take form. Every blessing heading your way became a target for their spiritual interference. They sent psychic attacks disguised as prayers for your healing and concern for your spiritual state. They worked overtime to confuse others about who you really are, spinning narratives that painted you as the very darkness they embodied. Created fake spiritual emergencies designed to manipulate you back into their orbit. Phantom illnesses, imaginary spiritual attacks, fabricated crises that coincidentally needed your specific energy to resolve. They weaponized your compassion like spiritual extortion, knowing your divine nature would respond to authentic suffering even while protecting itself from their manipulation. But here's the cosmic joke they missed entirely. Every curse they launched boomeranged back to their own energy field with compound interest. The spiritual laws they thought they were above. Those laws have impeccable bookkeeping. Every ounce of negative energy they sent your way returned to them threefold, sevenfold, tenfold. Their attempts at spiritual manipulation exposed them as the frauds they always were. Like counterfeit money under ultraviolet light, their true nature became visible once the divine scrutiny began. People started seeing through their victim, masks to the predator consciousness beneath. The empath facade cracked, revealing the narcissistic core that had been orchestrating the entire victim performance. Their own words became their spiritual prison sentences. Every accusation they made about you was actually a confession about themselves. Every weakness they attributed to you was actually their deepest insecurity. Every concern they expressed was actually a threat they were making. Social media became a confessional booth where they posted their own evidence. Contradictions stacked upon contradictions until their narrative house of cards couldn't bear its own weight. Public humiliation through their own loose tongues, their own inconsistencies, their own desperate attempts to control the narrative they'd already lost. And you remained silent. You maintained your dignity. You let the divine handle what the divine handles best, justice. But your sacred isolation served a purpose they never anticipated. Your withdrawal from their toxic circles cut off their primary energy supply, like turning off life support to artificial life. Without your divine essence to feed upon, their manufactured spiritual personas began decomposing in real time. The vibrant energy they'd stolen from you had been the only thing keeping their artificial personalities animated. We knew this isolation was your spiritual cocoon phase. While they panicked about your absence, we understood you were undergoing a metamorphosis that would emerge you as an entirely different spiritual being. Your silence wasn't defeat, it was preparation. Hey, this is Mike and Airy cutting into your regularly scheduled Chosen One programming for just a moment. We are the founders of the Obsidian Inner Order and the Astral Atom Network, and we're done playing nice. We're in a spiritual war. You know it, we know it, and we're out here bleeding for this mission, full time. I'm hungry for fourth-dimensional Archon blood, but we need the ammunition. So listen, when you join the Inner Order, you're not just supporting us. You're getting access to exclusive tools they never wanted you to have. Psychic self-defense training, targeted individual intel, spiritual warfare tactics they scrub from the internet. And every week, we meet in secret, chosen ones only, on Zoom. No filters, no fluff, just real gnosis, real family, real power. It's a 360-degree win. You get what you need. We get to keep fighting. So don't just watch. Drop a like. Share this video to everyone you know now. And join the Obsidian Inner Order. Let's finish what we started. Link in the description. Let's freaking go. They lost complete composure when they realized traditional manipulation tactics no longer worked. Your non-reaction to their performances left them without an audience for their victim theater. They tried louder accusations, more dramatic stories, increasingly unbelievable victim narratives, all falling into the void of your sovereign indifference. Your absence revealed the embarrassing truth. They'd built their entire spiritual identity around opposing and feeding off you. Without your energy to react against, they had no coherent self-concept. They were spiritual imposters, identity thieves, who had stolen so much of their personality from opposing you that they couldn't function when you stopped playing their game. And that's when the real breakdowns began. Public meltdowns, spiritual emergency after spiritual emergency, desperate attempts to recreate the drama they needed to feel alive. But the source of their energy, your response, had been permanently disconnected. But we knew something they didn't realize yet. We recognized you as part of the spiritual resistance long before you recognized it yourself. Your energy signature belonged to an ancient lineage of souls incarnated specifically for this cosmic moment. While others played spiritual games, you carried a mission that transcended their comprehension. We saw through their masks before anyone else because we recognized their kind. These weren't just difficult humans or wounded souls. These were specific spiritual assignments designed to test, strengthen, and ultimately prove your divine calling. Every attack was actually evidence of your importance to the cosmic plan. We understood your trials were spiritual initiations disguised as human drama. Each persecution, each lie, each betrayal was actually a divine test you were passing with flying colors. While they thought they were destroying you, they were actually refining you into the spiritual warrior you were always meant to become. We witnessed how the universe conspired to protect you in ways that defied logical explanation. Missed opportunities that turned out to be blessings, betrayals that led to better connections, doors that closed to force you through the portal you were meant to enter all along. We channeled that you would emerge victorious while they crumbled, and we weren't wrong. The same divine source that showed us your victory also revealed their inevitable downfall. What others saw as your difficult times, we recognized as your preparation period. And now, the cosmic shift we prophesied is fully activated. The numerology of 2025 brings completion energy to their karmic debt. 2 + 0 plus 2 plus 5 = 9. The number of spiritual completion. The frequency of divine justice fulfilled. Their karmic loan has come due, and the universe is starting collections. Universal energies now support your truth over their deceptions. The cosmic winds have shifted direction, and what once protected their lies now amplifies your authentic voice. Divine algorithms have rewritten reality's programming to support truth-tellers over story spinners. Divine downloads flood your consciousness with strategic wisdom you couldn't access during your dark night of the soul. Information downloads arrive disguised as intuition. Strategy presents itself as sudden knowing. Divine chess moves reveal themselves in moments of quiet contemplation. Your voice now carries prophetic weight that cannot be ignored or dismissed. When you speak truth, reality itself resonates with recognition. Your words carry authority they never possessed before because they're backed by divine conviction earned through trial by fire. Spiritual gifts amplifying to levels that would have frightened your former self. Claircognizance so sharp it cuts through deception instantly. Clairsentience so accurate it reads energy signatures like fingerprints. Clairvoyance so clear it sees through time and dimension to perceive truth from any angle. Divine protection shields surround you while they face spiritual warfare completely exposed. You walk in bubbles of grace while they stumble through minefields of consequence. What bounces off you like rain sticks to them like spiritual tar. But their desperation is reaching new heights. They're attempting love-bombing campaigns because terror campaigns failed. Sudden declarations of how sorry they are, how they never meant to hurt you, how they've learned so much and want to make amends. Translation: they've felt the spiritual heat rising and want back under your energy umbrella before the full consequences manifest. Seeking legal protection from spiritual consequences they earned through their own actions. Lawyers can't defend against cosmic law. Restraining orders can't restrain karma. Legal systems can't overturn divine verdicts, yet they persist, throwing money at problems that exist in dimensions money can't touch. Trying to recruit new flying monkeys as old ones abandon ship. Their original army of supporters has witnessed too much, seen too many contradictions, experienced too many broken promises. The smart ones are distancing themselves before the spiritual. Fallout contaminates their own energy fields, creating increasingly unbelievable stories about their victimhood. The narrative holes are becoming chasms. The timeline contradictions are becoming undeniable. The evidence against their version of events is mounting like a spiritual avalanche that will soon bury their deceptions entirely, desperately attempting to reconnect after burning all bridges with napalm. They want access to you without accountability for their actions. They want your energy without owning their abuse. They want forgiveness without offering genuine transformation. Showing up uninvited as their spiritual support systems collapse like dominoes. Friends who discovered the truth and withdrew their support. Family members who grew tired of enabling toxic behavior. Spiritual communities that recognized the darkness beneath their lightworker masks. But something greater than their individual desperation is stirring. We rise as one unified force, a spiritual army assembled across dimensions and incarnations specifically for this cosmic moment. Our souls recognize each other instantly, bypassing traditional human getting-to-know-you processes. We know each other because we've known each other before this lifetime began. We see patterns they tried to hide from the unawakened masses. Their tactics aren't original. They're recycled spiritual warfare strategies that have been used against the chosen throughout history. But this time is different. This time, we're ready. We speak with collective divine authority that cannot be questioned or challenged by lower vibrational entities. Our voices harmonize across dimensions, creating a frequency that shatters the lies they've built their false realities upon. When we speak as one, reality itself rearranges to support our truth. Our unified power transcends their individual manipulations like sunlight overpowers candlelight. They spent so much energy trying to isolate us, divide us, turn us against each other. What they didn't realize was that we were gathering, learning, comparing notes, recognizing the patterns. We communicate through synchronicities they can never decode. number sequences that confirm strategies, animal messengers that deliver guidance, song lyrics that arrive at perfect timing with exactly the message needed. A communication network that bypasses their surveillance and infiltration attempts entirely. We recognize each other through spiritual discernment that cuts through all human disguises. Your true tribe can feel your energy signature from across crowded rooms. We don't need introductions because our souls have been in communication for lifetimes, waiting for this moment of convergence, and the exposures continue accelerating, court cases resolving in your favor with divine intervention that defies legal precedent, judges making decisions that surprise their own legal teams, evidence appearing that shouldn't exist, witnesses coming forward with information they weren't supposed to have, divine justice working through human institutions in ways that humble the strongest atheists, hidden financial schemes connected to you being exposed like X-rays revealing broken bones, money trails that lead back to their deceptions, financial manipulation tactics that crumble under investigation, resources they stole from you finding their way back through channels they never saw coming. Truth about why spiritual connections were severed coming to light like morning sun burning away fog. The real reasons behind separations, divorces, friendship endings, family splits. Manipulations designed to isolate you from support systems. Lies planted to poison relationships. Truth dissolving decades of confusion in minutes. Death energies surrounding them while resurrection energies embrace you. They're experiencing spiritual mortality while you're experiencing spiritual rebirth. What's ending for them is only the beginning for you. Their conclusions are your introductions to higher levels of existence, their true relationships being revealed. Business partnerships built on exploitation, sexual connections devoid of genuine intimacy, spiritual alliances based on mutual parasitism. The house of cards is collapsing in precise order, each revelation perfectly timed for maximum divine impact. Ancient spiritual contracts being nullified in your favor, karmic debts being resolved, soul agreements being rewritten, generational curses being broken, bloodline patterns being dissolved. You're not just healing from this lifetime's wounds, you're healing ancestral lines, both backward and forward through time. But your individual healing catalyzes something magnificent. Your individual healing catalyzes our entire tribe's elevation, like a tuning fork, awakening dormant frequencies in surrounding instruments. Your victory isn't just personal, it's a beacon signaling to every other chosen soul that their victory is possible, probable, inevitable. Your success story becomes a template for others under spiritual attack. The path you're walking becomes a highway for those following. The strategies that work for you become battle plans for the next wave of awakening souls. Your healing opens portals for others to walk through. Your voice now channels for the collective consciousness of all chosen beings throughout history and across dimensions. Ancient wisdom flows through your human vessel. Galactic perspectives merge with earthly insights. Divine blueprints download through your awareness to be shared with others ready to receive them. Your boundaries inspire others to cut toxic spiritual cords with blade-like precision. Your refusal to tolerate energy theft gives permission to others to protect their divine essence. Your standards become the new baseline for what the awakened community will and won't accept. Your boldness activates dormant courage in fellow chosen ones, like dominoes of empowerment falling in perfect sequence. Each person who witnesses your transformation and chooses their own becomes part of a growing army of sovereign souls. Your light doesn't just shine, it ignites others. Your vindication energetically liberates our entire spiritual family from patterns of persecution that have plagued chosen souls for millennia. The victories you achieve ripple backwards through time, healing our ancestors, and forward through time, blessing our descendants. We step into our true spiritual inheritance, not as individuals, but as a unified field of divine consciousness. The time of hiding, of playing small, of pretending we're just regular humans with regular problems, that time is over. We manifest abundance that makes their scarcity consciousness obsolete. While they fight over crumbs, we feast at banquets they can't even perceive. Our prosperity doesn't come from taking what others have. It comes from accessing infinite divine resources they don't know exist. We create new paradigms that leave their manipulation tactics completely powerless. Their old strategies don't work on the new frequency. Their attempts to engage feel like children's games to our expanded consciousness. We've outgrown their spiritual weight class entirely. We establish unshakable spiritual boundaries that protect our entire community. Not just individual boundaries, but energetic protocols that safeguard our collective field from parasitic intrusion. We've learned to recognize spiritual predators in all their disguises and maintain defensive strategies that adapt faster than they can evolve new attacks. We channel divine justice that extends beyond personal vindication to collective liberation for all chosen beings. Our healing doesn't stop with us. It becomes medicine for those still suffering. Our victory doesn't end with us. It becomes a portal for others to achieve their own. We embody the victory of light over darkness, truth over deception, love over fear, in ways that permanently shift reality's default settings. We're not just hoping for a better world, we're becoming the better world. We're not waiting for change. We are the change. The divine decree is final. Their pent-up anger burns only themselves now. The rage they harbored against you has become the very fire consuming their artificial constructs. Their lies collapse under the weight of divine truth like houses of cards in earthquakes. We rise, you rise, the light wins. The spiritual war is over because we've transcended the battlefield entirely. We're no longer fighting against darkness, we're establishing light. We're no longer defending against lies. We're embodying truth. We're no longer protecting ourselves from their attacks. We're radiating love at such intensity that their weapons dissolve before reaching us. We claim our rightful place as inheritors of the new Earth frequency, not inherited through birthright or luck, but earned through trials by fire, proven through tests of spiritual endurance, validated through divine vindication, and so it is. And so it shall remain, forever and always. The chosen have risen. The light has won. The new earth vibrates with frequencies of truth, love, and divine justice. Your persecution is over. Your vindication complete. Your ascension permanent. Welcome to your new life in the divine frequency where you and we finally shine with the full intensity of our true spiritual nature, unfiltered, unashamed, undefeated. Their pent-up anger meant nothing in the end. It was only the energy source for their own destruction. You won. We won. God won. The end of their story, the beginning of ours, and yes, it will be glorious.